The Second Life for the first time, it feels like you're landing in a foreign world until you get immersed. For me, it was a first dance with somebody that felt magical.
The beauty of Second Life is that it's a combination of networking and outreach. The Girls Project, it's not just something that's local. It's a collective, and that's really important.
We all have one goal, it's to work for a better world.
My name in Second Life is Rhiannon Chad-Noir, Community Manager of Nonprofit Commons, hosted and organized by Caravan Studios.
The Nonprofit Commons has been around for over 10 years.
It's a community of practice.
Organizations that have to do with environmental issues, homelessness, domestic violence.
That sense of space and being there within the environment is very important. You'd be able to also get a free office space.
We have the opportunity to fundraise, to promote our program and services, to bring subject HIV/AIDS education, a heavy subject, in a virtual world, in a playful manner, help students to understand better.
Diseases, to name just a few. And who exactly is going to help us solve all of these great challenges? Well, to a very large degree, it is these young students. This is the next generation of young, bright scientists, and in many ways, we all rely on them for coming up with new, great innovations to help us solve, to train the pilots. And so we thought to ourselves, why not just apply that to science? Why not build a virtual laboratory simulator? Well, we did it. We basically set out to create a fully simulated, one-to-one virtual reality laboratory simulator where the students could perform experiments with mathematical equations that would simulate what would happen in a real-world lab. But not just simple simulations, we would also create advanced simulations with top universities like MIT to bring out cutting-edge cancer research to these students. And suddenly the universities could save millions of dollars by letting the students perform virtual experiments before they go into the real laboratory. So to investigate whether this really worked, learning psychologists did a study with 160 students, and that was from Stanford University and Technical University in Denmark. And what they did is they split the students into two groups. One group would only use the virtual laboratory simulations, and then the other group would only use traditional teaching methods. And they had the same amount of time. Okay? Then, interestingly, they gave the students a test before and after the experiment so they could clearly measure the learning impact of the students. And what they found was a surprisingly high 76% increase in the learning effectiveness when using virtual laboratories over traditional teaching methods. But even more interestingly, the second part of this study investigated what the teacher's impact was on the learning. And what they found was that when you combined the virtual laboratories with teacher-led coaching and mentoring, then we saw a total 101% increase in the learning effectiveness, which effectively doubles the science team.
Hi, my name is Stephen Arnold, and I live in Lakeland, Florida. I first came to Morningstar in January of 2012, and I went through the month-long training here and actually was able to complete that and got certified in advanced aquaponic system development. And it's been a year since I've visited and 2 years since my training, and I would love to go through training now with the systems and the people they have in place as teachers and instructors. After my training here at Morningstar, I moved to the Dominican Republic to help run an orphanage and was able to start what I would call a large home-sized system there. I had about 400 fish and about 100 plants going at one time. So my training here was really life-giving for both my family, but also the children that we were serving in the Dominican Republic. If you're considering
to maximize the output for different varieties. So one big part of that is light. Being able to turn the blue spectrum up and red down or reverse and find what matches the right plant attributes. Growing facility where all these settings are easily accessible through the app. It really makes anybody an expert in growing.
Our customers are probably the most exciting part of the business because they're a wide range. So we've everything we've deployed with large academic institutions feeding their cafeterias, multi-generational food distributors in cities, some restaurants and hospitality groups, and then the area that's probably the most dynamic and most exciting are our small business farmers.